Yay, it's Thursday. You know what that means. Tomorrow is Friday. Woohoo! Okay, so let's go ahead and get down to business. The first thing you need to do is write the title of our notes, which is 5.2, Solving Systems of Equations by Graphing. Solving Systems of Equations by Graphing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Here's some notes to take. I'm sorry, I had yesterday's title. Hello. Okay, so solving systems of equations using, can you mark out by graphing? We did that yesterday. I don't think we need to do that again. I hope that you guys are good with that, but we're going to move on. If you're not good with that, you can join me in tutorials. Okay, so we're now moving on. We're solving systems of equation using substitution. Okay, sorry about that. Please make that change. So we need to know how to find the solution to our problem. Isn't that what we need to do in life? Find a solution to our problem? Well, I can tell you how in algebra. It is the point the two equations have in common. Look at that. The solution is the point two equations have in common. So you've been wondering how to find a solution to the world's problems. Well, I mean, really, it is finding common ground. It is looking to see what the two sides have in common, and that's usually your best solution, is a compromise. So it's kind of like what we're doing in math right now. We're making a compromise. We're having to see what those two equations have in common, and we call that the intersection point. Okay, the intersection point. Let's do an example, shall we? Example 1. X equals 8 plus y and 2x plus 3y equals 6. Well, that looks kind of like a B, so we'll make that look like a 6. What we can see here, I'm going to box this in for example 1 so you don't think 1 is a part of that problem. It'll tell you x or y. Here we have x is 8 plus y. So what you have to think of, instead of me just telling you x is 1, like in a coordinate point, what I'm telling you here is that in this equation, or this system of equation, your x, in this example, is 8 plus y. So everywhere you see an x in this problem, which is just right here, you are going to sub in x 8 plus y where you see an x. So everything in the box is a substitute for x. Okay? So now, what we have to do, step 1, replace x with the box. And then step 2, solve the equation. Okay, those are your steps. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 2, and we're going to put that box in here. 8 plus y. We're going to put that in parentheses, okay? Because that whole thing stands for x, so we put that in parentheses. Plus 3y equals 6. It's just straight from that equation right there. So, you can play like you can remove the box, okay? But what we're going to do here is we're going to distribute this 2 into the parentheses first, because we distribute first. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times y is 2y. So we end up with 16 plus 2y plus 3y equals 6. Okay? So now, do we have some like terms that we can combine? We surely do. We have a y here and some y's here. So we're going to combine those. We're going to have 16 plus, we're going to combine those to be 5y, right? 2y plus 3y is 5y equals 6. Now, we got to get the y by itself. So we're going to move 16 to the other side first by subtracting 16 from both sides. That's 0. So you zeroed that out. And then here you have 6 minus 16 is a negative 10. So we're left with 5y equals negative 10. So we need to divide this 5 off to get the y by itself. That will cancel out, and you get y equals negative 10 divided by 5, which is negative 2. So our y is negative 2. I'm going to circle that, but you're going to need to do one more step. Well, we never really got an answer on what x is specifically up here. We just know it's 8 plus y. So now that we know what y is, can we figure out what x is? Yes. That's our third step. Plug y back into the box to find x. Okay? We got to plug y back into the box to find x, and then you'll have your y, you're going to make a coordinate pair with your x, comma, y. That's how you make your answer. Okay? So let's do that. We already know our y is negative 2. So let's do our x. Our x equals 8 plus y, which is negative 2. Okay? So now we just solve 8 plus a negative 2 is the same thing as saying 8 minus 2, which is just x equals 6. I'm going to circle that. So now we have the x and the y, and we can put that in our coordinate pair. 6, comma, negative 2. This is your answer. That is your intersection point. That is where the solution is. Okay, let's do one more. Make sure that you are writing these notes down because you're going to follow these 4 steps every time. So let's do that again. Another color here. Example 2. This time we find out what y equals. Y equals 3x plus 2. And then we also know that y equals negative x minus 6. Those are your two systems. So this time, since they give you what y equals, we're going to box that off And now this, you're going to replace y with the box. That's the only thing that changes here from number 1, example 1, is in example 1, they gave us what x equals. Well, this time they didn't give us what x equals, they gave us what y equals. So we just do the opposite. We're going to replace, in our equation, we're going to put the box in where y is. So let's do that. 3x plus 2, there's your box, okay, equals negative x minus 6. Everything else is the same. We just put y, what we have for y there, okay, in the box. So now we can try to get x by itself. So we have to put all of our x's on one side and all of our y's on the other. So I like to put the x's on the left side and the numbers on the right. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to move this term to the other side by adding an x to both sides. When I do that, I get 4x plus 2 equals, these cancel, negative 6. And then now I have this negative 6 over here, which is good. I want my numbers over here. I got to move this term to the other side by subtracting 2 from both sides, because that's going to zero that out here. Leaves me with just 4x equals negative 6 minus 2 is the same thing as plus the opposite, or add the opposite. It's negative 8. Okay? So now we're left with 4x equals negative 8. We need to get that 4 off the x. We're going to divide it by 4 on both sides. And we get x equals negative 2. I'm going to circle that because now we know what our x value is. So if we look back at our steps, we solve the equation, and now instead of plugging in the y back into the box to find x, we're going to plug the x back in because that's what we have here to find y. So we have y equals negative x minus 6. Okay? So negative x minus 6. So if our x is negative 2, it's a negative, and then negative 2 is our x, minus 6. We're just plugging that in right there. So here's a negative 1, it's like a negative 1, times the negative 2 makes a positive 2, minus 6. What is positive 2 minus 6? That's going to give you a negative 4. So y equals negative 4. Circle that. Now you can make your coordinate pairs because you have your x and you have your y. So you have negative 2, comma, negative 4. And that is your answer. So this does require you to do some work. You cannot just do this in your head. You need to actually work it out and show your work because there are lots of steps and I don't want you to get lost along the way. So we're going to be using this on Friday in class and then doing homework just like this. So make sure you take it step by step. Do not get overwhelmed. Okay? Have a good night and I'll see you tomorrow when it's Friday, or should I say Friday, right? Alright, see ya.